the introduction, y'all know. What up, Insane Rhetoric? What's going on, Insane Rhetoric? How y'all doing today? We live, it's YouTube live stream. You already know what it is. We out here doing our thug thizzle. The world is upside down. We trying to make it right side up. Insane Rhetoric is in the building. What up, sister? What's good?
Morning, y'all.
Oh, here we go. Again, I give all these crazy introductions. Morning, y'all. The hell? So listen. Our show is gonna be filled with something different today, man. We got different guests on this morning, man. We ready to get at it. So we're gonna be talking about the NRA, the Second Amendment. We're gonna be talking about school shootings and just gun control as a whole. Can we stop it? Can we make it better? So this is the thing that we're going to be talking about today. So we don't know what is going to come out of this. I got my partner, the token white guy. So that's my man's. Then I got my guy Kry down there doing his thug thizzle. We finna get him live in 5. Then we got the RedDragonThePoet. And then we got my co-host, my big sister, Ice. You know what she about. And then you got the last but not least, the lunatic, aka Fire. You know, I say whatever the hell I want to say and don't give a hell what you think. So this is what we're gonna do. We finna get them. All y'all can, let's come on in and let's go ahead and get at it with Insane Rhetoric. Sit back and enjoy this ride because it's finna be crazy.
It's getting hot in here. Don't take off all your clothes. We don't wanna see it. No. Oh, sorry.
All right, y'all can come off mute. You can come off mute, token white guy. Take it off mute, man. Come on in. Let's get it. So y'all can introduce yourself, what y'all love to do real quick. I'm not gonna make y'all don't write no dissertation on our show. So just give a short synopsis of what you do. Red Dragon, what is it that you do?
I am RedDragonThePoet, and I am also a health and wellness fanatic. I am the manager of Holistic Trap Wellness. So whatever your hood needs to get you well and get you right, I got you. Yeah. I also love to do podcast shows. I love to speak. I love to do it all. So I'm excited to be here today.
Okay, so you say you hood wellness, whatever you need, you got it.
I got you. I got the herbal equivalent to whatever you need out there.
I'm glad you said that because I was going to ask you sell crack?
I got the herbal equivalent to that. Okay. What that euphoric feeling, I got the herbal equivalent.
All right, cool. Token white guy, what's up, man? What is some of the things you into and you do? What's good?
What's up, Ryan? It's grateful to be here. Really excited about this. I've been looking forward to it. I love doing a lot of stuff outdoors, like the typical stuff: mountain biking, fishing, hunting, shooting guns. So I'm grateful to be here on this topic. Just friends, family, and just, I'm a workaholic, man, and that's what I focus on. But man, I'm just really happy to be here and talk about this topic because there are a lot of things that need to be discussed because, like you said, this country is just kind of downwards and bound.
All right. I see one thing that you don't do too well is read names. My name says Fire in the corner.
I wasn't advised to read your nickname. I know your actual name.
I know you know me.
I apologize.
So, all right, my guy Kry, what's up, man? What is it that you do, man? And tell us a little something about yourself. Make it quick and snappy because we ready to break bread with this topic.
Got you real quick. It's Kry. I'm a spoken word artist. I'm a gospel rap artist, preacher, teacher, man of God. And I'm just here, man. I'm just here to try to be a blessing to the world in any way I can. I'm trying to be a positive influence and just trying to have hope in spite of all the mess that we see. You know what I'm saying? I'm a dad. I love people. And I'm a standard for change, and it's time for change, man. We need to change. We need to step it up. We need to come together however we can and try to bring a solution to this mess. You know what I'm saying? Just real talk. So I'm glad to be here. Let's get it.
All right.
All right. So wait a minute. I got to tell y'all something first. Like, mute, like, follow, subscribe.
Right. Like, follow, subscribe. And when y'all get this link after we done, y'all make sure y'all push it out on y'all social media. All y'all.
That's so.
All right. So, all right. My co-host, you got something you want to say before we go ahead, break bread and get started? Tell them who you are and what you do. They don't know.
Who don't know?
All right, forget that. So my sister is the owner of Mission Chasse Dance Company down in Houston, Texas.
Yeah.
She is a professionally trained ballet dancer and teacher. So she has a mobile studio that she goes wherever you want for your children to learn how to do ballet. And hey, don't steal her idea because I will hurt you. So
even if they do steal it, they can't do it the way I do it. So
they can't do it the way we
and
do it.
I've always wanted to be a dancer. That's wonderful.
She is
we
one
just don't we haven't elevated the stripping on the pole though. We don't.
She is one of the most talented people that I know. Her dance teacher, correct me if I'm wrong, sister, but if I recall, her dance teacher is actually the one who taught Debbie Allen. And I had to learn the name Debbie Allen. Debbie Allen is a professional, world-renowned ballet.
She taught Felicia. Dance. She taught Felicia and Debbie before Debbie went to Houston Ballet and all them other places.
There you go. So she has learned under those great people. So therefore, you know, she does what she do. So me,
like I met Felicia Allen because she came to talk to her old teacher before she became Mrs. Huxtable.
Right. So she got history. So me, on the other hand, I'm Mr. Do It All. Let's get to our show. Let's get it.
Okay, so let's start with this. What do we think? Let's just go on back to last week. Let's start it from there because we could start it a long way back from there. But let's just start with last week with the Supreme Court's ruling. Well, we gonna not see. Okay, now we gonna start in on all the amendments. Okay, so we're gonna go back to the Second Amendment. And the Supreme Court said what they said last week. What we think about that first? Because now New York and I think California are all trying to scurry around to change their laws so that they don't have people killing people in the streets. Go.
All right. So who's first up on that topic dealing with the case from the Supreme Court? Who wants to talk about it first? Do y'all know about the case of the Supreme Court?
But don't we have somebody here that's a member of the NRA?
I am a member of the NRA. I have several firearms. I'm a responsible firearm owner. I train with Marines, Army Green Berets, Army Rangers. You know, I've learned a lot of things, but with the things that the cops are doing, and you know, we're talking about these deaths. Like, you know, I'm from St. Louis, Missouri, so I was here when George Floyd was shot. I was here for the Michael Brown. I mean, it really like disturbs me for all these things. These were senseless things, and I wasn't there during the crime, whatever was being accused to be committed. Can cops handle things differently? Yes. Do we have rights to bear arms in the Second Amendment? Of course. You know, that's what our forefathers said, but it's just really disturbing that people are dying for no reason.
Okay, stop. Second Amendment, we're going to tell y'all again, because we've told you this before on Insane Rhetoric. I'm laughing at you, Red Dragon, because I saw you live on Instagram that day when you told them that I was about those facts. Here we go. Second Amendment, as it is written, a well-regulated militia being necessary to the security of a free state, the right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. Okay. The Second Amendment protects an individual right to possess a firearm unconnected with service in a militia, and to use that arm for traditionally lawful purposes, such as self-defense within the home. That's the Second Amendment.
Right. Absolutely.
Traditional lawful purposes.
Uh-huh.
Traditional.
Such
as killing motherfuckers
no,
that are
such
black.
as you came in my house.
No, right.
And I have the right to protect myself
Sir,
and my
right.
family.
That's the traditional framework of the Second Amendment. So when you're talking about
from military,
we're right, which is separate from military totally.
Right.
So when you think about what is tradition, you know, it is not the fact of somebody being in your car and somebody running up to you and trying to rob you for your car, and that's a tradition because you shoot them because it's your property, because that's unlawful. You ain't supposed to do that. You know what I'm saying? The reason being is if somebody is breaking into your car, you can't really shoot and kill them because the police would call that tampering. Until they sit inside your car and try to take off, then you are at your right to actually shoot them to try to move them out of the way. The same thing happens within your home. If somebody is on your property and you shoot and kill them, by law, they are supposed to be convicted as a murderer because they were on your property. But if they were in your home, then that's self-defense.
Except for the case here in Texas, in Lubbock, Texas, with Kyle Carew.
Except for because if you know the case about in Lubbock, Texas, wasn't that Kyle?
Kyle Carew.
Kyle Carew. He went down there and shot a man who was coming to get his kid because the guy wouldn't even leave his property. He went in the house, got his gun, and came back out and shot him. So that's what called premeditated murder. But he got off. So you got to be real. You got to be real conscious of what happens and how you use firearms around the people in the society that you're dealing with, especially the wonderful chocolate people of the world.
Well, that's what I mean. When you talk about tradition, I'm listening and I'm thinking traditionally, you said somebody got to be in my car. That's when they getting ready to blast you. So at that point, it still ain't considered self-defense until your life is basically in danger. Well, what if they trying to shoot into the car and you have no other choice but to defend yourself as you're driving off? The letter of the law is so interesting because when you get down to the wording, that's mind-blowing. So that's where those little tiny loopholes come in where people can get off and get away with shit.
But I think you missed it. I said I think so. If the robber is inside your car, not you, if he's tampering and trying to break in and he gets inside the car, that's when you have the ability to execute against him.
If you're in the car yourself.
So that's why I say I think you just missed that little part. But if he's in the car You know what I'm saying? That he's about to drive off and you run up to him then and shoot and kill him. He's inside your vehicle. He's not outside just tampering with the car. You know, like I said, when somebody comes up to your property, they can be on the sidewalk in front of your house. If you shoot them, that's murder, flat. Wow. But if they're inside your home, now it's a defense. They ain't supposed to be there. But what you do, if you murder that person inside your home, please make sure that they fall inside the house, right, and not outside the door line.
But okay, but what if you're sitting in your vehicle at a stop sign, somebody rolls up to you?
That's self-defense.
With a gun.
That's self-defense.
That's still okay. So
that's self-defense on you, because they're trying to rob or murder you or do bodily harm to you. So you have the right to do that. That's self-defense. What was you?
So I was trying to say
something. Look, just real quick. So what are you saying? If a boogie is in my house and I shoot him, make sure he don't run outside and then die. If he dies inside the house, I'm cool. But if he run outside my house after I shoot him, then I'm gonna be charged for murder, even though he came on my property. Man, why?
Because look, you have no proof. You have no proof. You have no proof that he was in your house if he ran out.
Right.
You have no proof that he was breaking into your house if you shoot him outside.
Right.
And I know this sounds weird, but it was an old OG that was like, coax him up to the house, coax him up to the house, wait till she step over that threshold and I'm gonna light her ass up. I was like, Granny, but yeah, when you talked right, and my dad was like, no, Grandma OG was right. Wait till they get over that threshold. Let them come on up in there. And you just stay right there behind the threshold in the dark. Let them come on in. So when you pop, and that body drop, it's still over the threshold within your residence.
Right. Because if you remember Boys in the Hood, when Fearless was dealing with his son and the dude tried to come in with his son, he shot through the door. When he shot through the front door, if he hit him and he fell outside of his property instead of letting them come in, he was going to be charged with murder with that. But that was, that was Boys in the Hood. But that's the point being made. You cannot do a shooting like that and they not fall inside your property line. Now, when you out in the street and somebody trying to do something to you, that's an act of self-defense. You know what I'm saying? If me and token white guy is out kicking it and we jamming, and all of a sudden we're in a club and we get, we doing what we do in the club and everybody's wanting to be around or whatever, and somebody has a problem with us getting all the attention or have the problem with him being of the other persuasion, being a white guy, hanging out with a brother and want to try him. If he ups a pistol on them and they come toward him and he shoots them, that's self-defense. Automatic.
So think about the other Kyle Rittenhouse.
Oh my God. Here we go.
I have no idea who these people are because I don't watch TV, just so y'all know.
Well, sure, you ain't gotta watch TV. He's the typical, not this, no shade to my people. He is the typical white suburban white boy. 18 years old at the time, or was he 17? He might have been 7. He might have been 17 at the time. Went down to a situation that the police was supposed to have under control with an AR-15 assault rifle.
Because he said he had to help. He said he had to help the police because his life was in danger. His life was in danger.
His life was in danger. His life went nowhere near.
But he went to go help the police, but his life was in danger.
And, right. Went down there and shot a couple of people. And the police didn't say nothing about it. His mama dropped him off down there.
Oh, and her ass gets off scot-free.
They didn't even graze a hair on the little boy's head. They didn't give him no time. But let me reverse the situation. Let me reverse every situation.
White privilege.
If it was me,
white privilege.
And I went down there and said, I'm finna help
White privilege.
the police. Well, everybody knows about fire. I'm not going to help the police on nothing. I'm not going to help the police for no reason.
Okay, y'all ain't taking me alive. We just finna end this right here.
Okay, shameless plug.
Y'all don't know where I'm
Shameless
from. I'm not
plug,
helping the
'cause we need
police.
sponsors.
Listen, token white guy. If the police show up while we out kicking it, homeboy, I'm gonna walk away. Because I'm the one that's gonna go to jail that day.
So here's the thing, and that's not false. That's the sad thing.
Yeah.
Because I was not raised to look at people by the color of the skin, their race, religion, if they're gay, straight, bisexual. It's about how you treat other people. But yeah, you are going to be treated different. All of you are going to be treated differently than me. And that is not false. I've seen it happen. I have many friends that are African American and of different races, and they don't get treated the same way I do. White privilege is a real thing, and that's a sad thing, to be honest with you, because I have, like I said, a lot of friends from many different backgrounds. Kyle Rittenhouse had no business going to defend his friend's car lot 2 states away.
2 states?
Yeah, he was in Wisconsin when that happened. Drove 2 states to go keep people from hurting his friend's car lot. And, he got off scot-free. He cried. He dropped to his knees when he was acquitted. And, it's just.
But he's still crying. Because now he's trying to look, he's trying.
His life
best
ain't
place
ever
for him, the best place for him is Texas. And he said he was coming down here to go to college. And that college said, no. He's not coming here.
Yeah. Nobody wants to be associated with that. And that's, I think
Well,
that's a fair assumption, I mean,
like we said on this show, Matt, like we said on this show, it's right in line with the same thing that happened with George Zimmerman and Trayvon Martin, that whole thing.
Yep.
Like, you're out here being your own militia, and then you don't like it when the masses don't embrace you for that. Like, you have to do what's right, and that was not defending yourself.
No, we just talked about defending ourselves, and like I said, I mean, I am a member of the NRA. I have several guns. I hunt. I do competition shooting, and I have guns for self-defense. I carry one with me wherever I go. Missouri has the castle doctrine, which means you can protect your house, and your car or vehicle is an extension of your home.
Yes, now they do, but it didn't used to be that way. Yes, now they do, but it didn't used to be that way. But now they do.
But everybody knows about Texas. Everything's bigger in Texas, gun laws in Texas, but Missouri does have the castle doctrine. So if somebody breaks into your home or they're a direct threat, you can use lethal force. Your car is a extension of your home. You are allowed to use lethal force if somebody is a threat to your life. I travel all over for work. So when I go through Illinois, they have different gun laws. And like I said, I'm a responsible gun owner. You have to have the magazine that carries all your bullets in your gun in a different section of the car than your gun.
Yeah.
So when you go through Illinois, like I go through East St. Louis, it's not a great neighborhood. A lot of stuff I've actually encountered in there. And be like, oh, excuse me, Mr. Person who's trying to take all my shit and kill me. Let me grab my magazine out of the trunk and I'll talk to you here in a second. States, you have to be a responsible gun owner. That's the biggest thing. And a lot of people aren't. I think that's really important.
And the thing I see with that, because I ride through Illinois a lot. And for me, what I'm saying, I just disobey that order, because a gun in a glove box and a magazine in the trunk winds up you murdered. Yeah. that's what that means.
No time to react.
It's like, so like in certain areas of when I'm traveling through there, I'm like, man, listen, I'm not going. Some of those rules are meant to be broken and bent because I'm not trying to wind up on the stretcher because your gun policy is garbage.
And see, that's why I'm going back to the way those laws are written. It's interesting because when you mention token white guy, that you are a member of the NRA, and it made me think about this movie I saw a while back where one of the guy in the ghetto, these gang members, these drug lords were getting their firepower from FRA or NRA member. They were able to, they bought a whole truckload of arsenal gun, went in the hood, sold it to the highest bidder, right? And something happened. They were able to trace the gun back. They found this going on. And he got off. The white guy got off scot-free because within his right, he was able to buy and resell to whoever he wanted. The thing that gets me is the wording of policies like this. And when you are in a court of law and you're trying to argue the law, then we get into all these other factors like race, money, social class. And it's unfair because suddenly all of those play into effect when the color of your skin and the amount of your bankroll dictates whether or not you're going to make it out or make it through their court system, even though you might have a well-versed, badass public defender or a well-paid, retained, good lawyer that's able, if you, that gets me. And I wanted to ask, because you said you are a responsible gun owner, when you are traveling interstate and and you know these policies, these gun laws, like my boy Fire said, is bullshit, and is really setting you up to get shot. It's really setting you up to put you in a position where the law can come in and accuse you of this, or they could say that. So how do you justify when it's cool as a responsible gun owner? Okay, I'm coming from that aspect. How do you decide when is a good time to bend those laws in your favor, being a responsible gun owner?
That's a really good question, and it's actually a really tough one because you don't want to be caught with your pants down, as they say. If I got pulled over and I'm getting, speeding or something simple, or I have expired tags and I have to reach in my glove box or my center console in my truck, and they're like, "Oh, you have a firearm?" and I got pulled over in Illinois. They're like, our laws are different here. I don't want to get caught like that. There are times where I'm like, this is the most bullshit law ever. And believe me, there are many, many times I've driven through areas like that, different states. And I'm like, man, I wish I had my gun like ready to rock and roll if I needed it. And, like you said, with race and everything, I didn't grow up with race. My parents always told me like everybody's equal. That's how God created us. We're all equal people. And you're right about a lot of the stuff. Some people get off scot-free because of the color of skin. Some people get off because they have high powered attorneys, but we all have rights to our lives. We have rights to defend ourselves. And I think that's something that our country has really gotten away from. I think everybody can agree, because we've seen a lot of really horrible stuff lately. And I'm not going to go on a tangent, run Fire. We talked about this, but the open border, yeah, I don't mind if Latinos come into the country, just do it the right way. My grandpa is from, Sicily, Italy. He had his papers. He did everything the right way, but we're letting in terrorists, fentanyl, illegal guns, which is going to create way more crime. And I think everybody has a right to defend themselves.
You know what? You ain't letting in terrorists. The terrorists already been here.
Yes, but it's not.
Timothy McVeigh wasn't from Mexico. Timothy McVeigh wasn't from Mexico.
Thank you.
I mean,
the Klan ain't from Mexico.
I want you to be.
The Klan ain't from Mexico.
I understand that. I'm just saying if with an open border, everybody can come into Mexico and then come right up.
Okay, so what do you think when I say that the terrorists are already here? What do you think that I mean?
I know they are. There's
what do you think I mean? Who do you think I'm talking about?
Man, don't even put me on the spot like that.
Don't put him on the spot. Don't put him. He talking about white people. I see.
So 200.
Don't put him on the spot like that. He the only one here.
I ain't gonna do that to my boy. That's my friend. So 244 years ago. 244 years ago, the United States was discovered. All right, we have only been in existence 244 years. All right, so from the point of that, when they were exiled from England, the people that they exiled from England was
terrorists and murderers.
Was the murderers, the killers, the rapists, the thieves, and they went to two places. They went to Australia and they went to the United States because the government of England didn't want to be bothered with their outcasts. So now you have a country that
full of murderers
is of murderers and thieves, robbers and rapists that are
and they came over here and murdered and robbed and raped the Native Americans.
Writing laws to fit their need.
And it's evident when you see a lot of high profile cases. What are they? Rapists, murderers, and criminals to some shady degree. On a higher plane.
This is the thing. I ain't never before Columbine and Sandy Hook, never ever seen a black guy go into and do a serial shooting in a school.
Prior to that, yeah. But I
hold on
for a second. Okay, go ahead.
Now I did bring this up because when I was talking to him about the mass school shootings, fire, I did tell him that my heart does go out, but I cannot help but consider that you have, for example, the boroughs of New York. You have inner city schools that have metal detectors. They've been having them for eons. Why? Because you got drug dealers, you got all kind of folks walking up in a school, shooting children. Children dying in schools is nothing new. Before Sadie Brook, before all that happened, that was happening in our inner city ghetto.
No. You missed.
That wasn't happening when I was in the inner city ghetto.
I'm just saying. It seems like when those incidents at these suburban elementary schools went under, and they were, it's sad, and I'm not trying to downplay that. I'm just saying that how can you bring light to this and then totally forget that there are young people that are kindergartners, preschoolers suffering from PTSD because they literally live in a war zone daily, and this has been happening way before Sandy Brook and Columbine. Because they have metal detectors.
I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that because I can address that issue too. What I am saying is before those particular shootings took place, you never seen a black man killing in the masses of white people that they do it. That's what I said. So when you talk about Columbine and Sandy Hook, those were white people, white males who went into those schools and executed them kids. And that has been the stream for a long time. Now, when you want to address the situation of Black schools in the public school system anywhere, I can tell you where that stems from. That stems from the point of slavery. First of all, when you go into the schools and you're talking about Black people, what is the first thing that is lacking in Black community? The male. Why is that? Because beforehand, what they did during slavery, what did they do to Black men? They took them and had them procreate on the farm that they started in when they bought them and moved them out of that home that they started in from their wife. That's what? Separation. So when you talk about separation, now you got this man that's going from farm to farm, procreating, making kids so they can have slaves. So what happened was we talk about what is called generational curses. And when you talk about a generational curse, you got the same thing going on right now. What is happening? Black people have a whole lot of kids that they're not taking care of. That's the same thing that they did back in slavery. So now you move to what's going on in here. So what is missing? When a Black kid is growing up, the main thing that they have missing is a father in the home. What does a father do? A father makes sure that there is security in the home. If there is no security in the home, then anybody can come in and do whatever, whenever they want with most women, because the security has been removed. So now what you're doing is you have started a culture of I need security. Where do they get it from? From the block on gangs. Now, this is why you have the shootings that you have in the public school system, because if you're being protected by the gang, guess what they want you to do? Whatever they need to be done so we can make sure that we move forward and do what we got to do. And what's the next thing that's lacking in Black society? Money. Money is lacking in Black society because that's why people get in gangs and go to the block and sell dope, because they need security and money. But listen, the projects was designed for separation. That's what they were designed for, because they understood if you do not lead them together, they can't take over. During the time of slavery, it was more Blacks than it was whites.
And so you enslave a race, keep them stripped of any type of knowledge of self or sense of self, and take away a structure. Because I believe when we were brought over here, we had a structure to our family dynamic.
But we're getting off the subject.
All stripped down.
Okay, we're getting off the subject. Let's go back to the gun.
Sorry.
Matt, you mentioned the castle law. So for our viewers who don't know what that is, the castle doctrine, also known as the castle law, it's also known as the defense of habitation law.
Mm-hmm.
It is a legal doctrine that designates a person's abode, their house, their home, abode, or any legally occupied place. We talked about a vehicle, we talked about a home. So it is there to designate a person's abode or legally occupied place as a place in which that person has protections and immunities permitting one, in certain circumstances, to use force, up to and including deadly force, to defend oneself against an intruder, free from legal prosecution for the consequences of the force used. The term is most commonly used in the United States, though many other countries invoke comparable principles in their laws. Okay. Now, some of the states say that you have a duty to retreat first. Like you got to try to get away first. Then you can pop out and shoot with deadly force.
Right.
Okay. This is where this whole notion of stand your ground came from.
Yep.
So he's saying, we're saying castle doctrine. If you're listening to Insane Rhetoric, you probably have heard in the news, stand your ground. Okay, that's it. I just like to put that out there.
No, that's fine. And you know, I actually have a good story about that. My dad always told me, because when my sister and I were living at my mom and dad's house, we were all on the second floor. And my dad's like, if someone wants to break in, steal our TVs, take our stuff, that's why we have insurance. He's like, but if they come up and they're a direct threat to you or your sister or your mom, I'm going to put a couple hot ones in their chest. Mm-hmm. You know, that's fine. Take my shit. I don't care. I can claim insurance. I can buy new stuff. It doesn't bother me. If you are going to lay hands on me in a threatening of my life or my well-being or my loved ones, I will use deadly force. Yeah. So the castle doctrine is built to, you know, you want to take my car, I'll give you the keys. Like, I don't care. You hold a gun to my head. I mean, I know hand-to-hand combat to disarm people, but if you want my car, I'm not going to fight you over it. I'll turn in an insurance claim. But if you're going to be a direct threat to my life or my family, I'd rather just give you my car, give you my TVs, give me my stuff, and just be done with it. You know, but if my dad always said, if somebody comes up those stairs, he's like, they're going to be in big trouble. Their bedroom overlooks the stairs that come up. My sister and I were in the 2 bedrooms on the other side. You know, that's when the castle doctrine comes into place. When they are a direct threat, take whatever you want. If you're going to hurt my family, if you're going to hurt me, you're fucked.
Now, see, that, and you're right. I agree with token white guy, because this is the thing. The problem with Black male society in that respect is they don't have jobs, token white guy, to have insurance to cover it. So I mean, here lies the problem. When you are in impoverished neighborhood, you are struggling to have the bare necessities for anything. And I'm not saying all Black people or all, you know,
thank you, because I was about to say,
I'm not saying that at all.
Yeah, all
I'm
people
saying
always
the ones
had jobs. I don't know what you're talking
I'm
about.
saying the ones that are in that situation, the reason they have to feel like they need to murder somebody is because they don't have the insurance to cover it.
So when we would take trips when we were little, when I was little, we would take trips. And there was one particular time we had gone from Texas around the coast up to Maryland. One of my cousins graduated from Annapolis. And then we came back the other way down through Oklahoma. We had been gone a long time. We came back, and it was devastating to walk into the house and people had stolen so much stuff. Like they had just stolen the house. Okay. And it was scary. As a kid, it was scary. It was, you know, you could see the disgust on my father's face. You could see the fright in his face. You know, as I look back, I could see, you know, this sense of, even though he was with us and protecting us on this trip, there was no way that he could have protected us while we're on this trip, that someone's in our house stealing our stuff, right? But you're right. We had homeowners insurance and things were replaced, right? But you still felt that they intruded.
Right.
Okay. I gotta say this too, because I don't want Matt to be here by himself on this.
Thank you.
I'm with you. I probably the only one on this that's on here with you. Because they be saying I'm bougie and all this other stuff they be saying about me. Okay, listen. I live in Texas. And
Choose
where
somebody
I
in
don't
Texas.
where I don't necessarily think a wall needs to be built, I think laws need to be put in place. But let's not get it twisted. We don't need a wall. We don't need to spend that kind of money on a wall. What we need to do is put stricter laws in place and actually enforce those laws.
Instead of a wall, I'd rather see people get jobs for the border control and be down there. That's employment. That's going to help the economy. But I'm not going to get off on that shit.
Now, I do not think we disagree in that it's only the terrorists, and because that's Trumpism. No, it's not the terrorists that's coming over here. I live here. I know who's coming up in here. Okay.
This is what I want to say. I want to say I agree. Go ahead, sister.
But when we put the right people in place who stop allowing for the sale of fentanyl, because it's government based. I don't care what all of y'all say. It's government based for the reason why we can't stop it.
They making money off of this. Bodies dropping, people OD.
So let's be clear. The people coming in, they come here because they know that whatever's going on in their government, when they get here, they can get whatever they need. And then they group together and they help each other.
Right.
And then I live here. I am experiencing right now in my life, it's a long story, I'm not going to tell y'all about it, but I am experiencing right now people getting a job who are not qualified because of the color of their skin or because of their sexual preferences.
Yep. Yeah. See, this is what I want to go back to.
So I agree with you. I agree with you, Matt.
I want to talk about.
We need tougher rules. They don't need to be coming up over here just for any reason.
No, and you want
they do need to come the right way. They need to get their paperwork together. And I do not believe in separating people from their children. Take your child with you. Everybody go back and then get all your paperwork together.
I agree with that.
Come here.
If you have kids, bring them with you, take care of them, get them documented, do whatever you have to do legally. And then you know what? You've gone through your stuff, you've been vetted, and
come on over here and teach me how to make some kind of Mexican dish, because I like to learn how to do that kind of stuff.
No, that's fine. You'll be a legal citizen in the United States. You'll have all the opportunities. And I think that's a beautiful thing about the United States. We have a lot of flaws. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying we're a perfect country, and I would disagree with anybody that says we are the best country in the world. I really do. But
my country too.
We have a lot of stuff to work on, but we also provide a lot of stuff that a lot of other countries don't.
You know what?
Sweet land of not always liberty.
So I want to talk about.
Bring what Ice was saying that okay, come over, get your paperwork straight, and come over. Okay, I wanted to address what do you have those. Because Mexico is does have a very corrupt government. Okay.
Okay. So what they got to do with me? Because we got a corrupt government.
So the United States.
No, you're right. What I'm saying is, in regard to a lot of people fleeing, there is a lot of our drugs like marijuana, the coca, a lot of other things are grown in Mexico. It's prime soil. It's great breeding.
Well, it's part of the NAFTA agreement, didn't you know?
No,
they're just not telling you, but it's part of the NAFTA
because they also
agreement.
got avocados, they also got fruit and vegetables. What I'm saying is, you have a lot of poor people who cannot afford.
That's right. That's me. I can't afford a cantaloupe.
Hold on, to get paperwork to legally come. You might have people that were witnesses to certain crimes by the Sicario, or by government officials, and they are fleeing for their lives. And the only remedy to that is to leave. Now, going through regular channels, legal channels, going to the embassy, going to whatever, to get paperwork so that you can legally cross the border into another state may be a dangerous obstacle. So how do you address that situation where they're running because they're trying to save their life?
Listen,
Because
girl, I got you. Listen, okay. I'm okay with helping the refugees, but let me tell you this. Let's reverse it. Because right now, in the United States of America, I don't care what none of y'all say, as a Black woman, as an older Black woman, because there's a such thing as ageism, where you start discriminating against older people.
Right.
Okay? Right now, if I felt like my life was in danger, which I do, in the United States, because you got cuckoo for Cocoa Puff people trying to change. We're going to have another show later about Texas, talking about slavery is not slavery. It's called involuntary relocation. Okay. Stop. We talk about it later because we already off the subject. Hold up. So I'm in danger right now.
Are off the subject. I thought we was talking about guns, y'all.
Yeah, we off the subject. We off the subject.
You didn't hop out the boat.
But that's how it happens sometimes. That's why it's insane rhetoric.
So listen. But I'm trying to address her question, Cry. I got you. Didn't I just say we off the subject? Okay.
Yeah, you did just say that. I'm sorry. My bad.
Okay.
My bad.
So listen. I'm in danger as a Black woman in America. I'm in danger right now. I'm gonna run to a different country. I'm not gonna do anything legal. I'm just gonna go there. I'm just gonna go because I want to be safe.
I can tell you what, they ain't gonna let your ass in.
There you go. Say it again.
My great-grandparents came here from Italy on a boat, went through Ellis Island, and now I want to go the fuck back to Italy.
You probably don't want to go to Italy either. You better pay attention because the Pope over there is cuckoo for Cocoa.
It's a little upside down
won't
right
happen
now.
Again, sir.
Okay, so
this is my thing.
But let's get back on the subject because we're gonna let him say this and then we're gonna get back on the subject.
This is my thing. I'm finna jump right back into that. So the problem that I have with legislation is not that it does not work. It does not work for the right people. And what I mean, for us like me and a token white guy on the show right now, both of us own a lot of different firearms. Okay. We are registered, to carry those firearms and use those firearms. I am very good at what I do with mine. So the problem is not that. The problem is that you can't regulate a criminal. It is not people who are going to get their firearms legitimately that's causing all the major havoc that you need to have legislation for. It is the people who are doing it on the black market that has criminal backgrounds that are selling these weapons and getting them to the street and getting them to places. You can't stop that because they don't care about how they get their gun. Them are the ones that's doing most of the killings that's in the street. So when you say something like that, oh, we need to have stricter gun laws. No, it's not that, because you can't regulate those group of people because they got the money and they gonna buy from any person that willing to take the money. It don't matter if they're a legitimate gun owner or not. They just want the weapon. So how can you stop them from getting those weapons? Because I can tell you honestly, I knew people back in the day who used to ride trains. Guess what comes in on trains? Military grade weapons. Guess what happens when the train got robbed? They made it to different neighborhoods. Yes, they were trackable, but think about a criminal. A criminal is going to do something one time with a weapon. Then the smartness of this particular criminal is to sell it off. Once you sell it off, now that person is already connected with the murder of the first criminal. And then what happens is it's a perpetuated situation because now you got 12 bodies on one gun. Who are you going to tag that murder to, those murders to? You can't. And then guess what they're doing? Erasing serial numbers. And then
just
after
found
a
out
while,
about ghost guns. I was like, dude, really?
Listen, I know all about them. So this is what I'm saying. For men, token white guy, your legislation would probably work because we're not out doing random killings like that. You know what I'm saying? For legislation for a criminal, they don't care.
But
It don't matter. So you think about it like this. When we talk about legislation, and I see grab your point. When you talk about legislation, I think when it comes to upstanding citizens who want to protect themselves, one thing that should be instituted is a psychological evaluation of people who come to buy guns.
Okay, so that goes straight to where I was going. Because you also cannot regulate someone's psychotic being.
No.
Like the boy here in Uvalde recently.
Yep.
You want to tell me they keep trying to say he didn't have any evidence of mental illness, but something was going on when you turned 17. I mean, you're 17. At 17, you're on different social media platforms for teens saying rude things about rape, about murder. You know, you're being ugly to women in your place of work. You work at a Wendy's. You being ugly and saying crude things there. You're 17. You have your birthday, you turn 18, and the next day you go out and buy a gun and you walk up to the school and shoot the people in the school. You're shooting kindergartners.
Right.
Some of them still don't even have that equilibrium to where they can walk right.
Walk, exactly.
So, okay,
Yeah.
listen up, everybody.
So
we didn't lose him. He went to go get his dog.
He went to go get his doggy.
Okay.
So you think about that. The psychological framework is important because if you don't check a person's mental capacities doesn't show up and just like, oh, a person walk in that's depressed all day long and I want to buy a gun. No, they don't work like that. It doesn't work like that. So when you think of a person who is manic depressing, they have good days and bad days. You might sell them a gun on a good day. But you don't know because you're just looking at the dollar that just walked into the gun shop. You're not looking at the history of the person that is buying the gun. There used to be a waiting period of 5 to 10 days. Before that, there was a 30-day wait period for you to buy a handgun or any type of weapon of that nature. That went out the window because they already knew that they was making so much money hand over fist with that. They didn't want nobody to change their mind in the wait period. But you should go back to that and include a psychological evaluation about people to make sure that their mental state, they won't be the next shooter on the news. And if you notice,
wouldn't that impact gun sales at places like gun shows? And
yes.
Now tactical boutiques,
yes.
I can definitely see that. but at a gun show where you just show up and it's right there on the table.
Would. It
So
would.
that would drastically alter then these gun shows, because those are like walking money pots.
I know. I go
now,
to them. I know.
When you incorporate that psychological evaluation, then for a lot of people, that's gonna stop that money coming in.
Yes,
but see,
that's the thing with the United States. The United States is three things that they say that they are not, but they are actually these three things that my sister knows. They're a capitalist, they're socialists, and they're communists.
You be a socialist and a communist at the same time.
You can. It depends on which framework that you're working under to do it.
Okay, that makes sense.
So you think about those type of things that are happening, and that's the reason I said it would drastically stop their money flow if they implemented that.
But just Kry, can you get in on this? We ain't heard from you. Are you there?
Huh?
Kry.
Yeah.
What do you think about that? We ain't heard from you, like
about which.
But okay, I posed a question about what Fire said about the psychological evaluation needs to be implemented, because they used to have 5 to 30-day holds on gun sales, but to address trying to regulate who gets it, he felt that a psychological evaluation needs to be implemented before you can be approved for a gun to get a gun.
Well, people gain on this. I totally agree with that or whatever. Not only mind thing needs to be put in place on people, but think about it. And this is going to plug into something that me and Fire was talking about the other day. It's a lot of things that need to be initiated before a person should be able to own a gun. But that will go against the overall agenda. The NRA, they don't want stuff to transform, or they don't want to have integrity with a whole lot of things, because guess what? It's going to put a halt on what they overall want to do, and the agenda doesn't want to change. So since the agenda don't want to change, guess what? Kids dying in schools, all these things that's popping off or whatever. Hey, we prefer to have our freedom, to have our agenda, compared to bringing in mental stuff to make sure that certain ones don't get, you know what I'm saying, be able to get these guns in their hand. That's going to stop us from being able to push our overall agenda. So people dying or all these things that we seeing in the news or whatever, all that is just support. What I'm trying to say is the agenda is more important than really trying to stop these things from happening, which guess what? In reality, putting more stuff in place, I don't think it's going to stop the school shootings and all that and all those things anyway. So when we get done with it, what really needs to be changed goes far beyond legislation. It goes far beyond checks and balances. That's really what I want to talk about, because really we can keep on going around in circles talking about the same thing over and over again when it comes to why don't we do this? Why don't we pass this? Why don't we put this in perspective? When we get done with it, man, these killings and things that are happening, y'all, it's not going to stop. Matter of fact, things going to get worse before they get better, because the overall agenda that's being pushed. The NRA ain't stupid. They know what they need to do, but they're not going to do it because they want to be able to have a green light in the areas that they want to be able to have a green light. Does that make sense?
It makes perfect sense.
So let me just say that, hold that thought, co-host, because we're talking about the NRA. Hold on. Let me interject this part. Okay. There are 5 million members of the NRA.
Wow. Wow.
Okay. I'm reading this from the NRA site, so don't get it twisted. Y'all know how I do. They say that they fight and win the toughest battles for the Second Amendment while offering the best firearms educational programs in the country. They say that they fight against politicians, judges, and bureaucrats who want to regulate, restrict, and ultimately destroy your Second Amendment freedom. Now, here's the rub. I think I'm gonna join the NRA. You know why? Because it only costs $45.
Mhm.
$45?
Yeah, it ain't much.
That's all.
It ain't much at all.
It's only 100 if you do 3 years at a time.
Oh, wow.
Okay.
Yeah. Listen. I agree with what Kry is saying. I think that we all see the problem, but my thing is what is the solution? Ultimately, you get down to words on paper means nothing. There has to be an act that actually changes people. And the only way you can do that is to, first of all, find out what the need is, research the need, and then implicate the solution. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of people talk about the ability of what's going on and how things are going, but nobody is really trying to find out what a solution is in the situation. So I'm gonna pose this to you. My thing is, the reason people have problems with legislation on every level, I don't care if you're rich, poor, in between, or flat broke, it comes down to this: who you put in office. You go to a ballot box, you stick a pen in a paper to actually vote for who you want. But have you ever researched that person? Do you really understand what their core values are? Like, we understand, like, I don't know if y'all know, I know what my core values are for what I need to have done in my life and the people that I need to line up in my life to make sure that my kid is safe in the future. This is the thing. The laws that you make and the laws that are implemented at the time that you vote ain't for you. They're for your next generation of children. And if you have some people who are who are lawless, what do you think that your kids are going to have to deal with? Can you honestly tell me right now who you think gonna win the next presidential election? And think about the kids that has all these mental problems who are going to get into politics. So when it comes down to it, when we talk about gun violence, when we talk about school shootings, mass school shootings, mass shootings, period, the ultimate issue is who you put in office.
And how it's interpreted. Because I'm sitting here, listen, I'm sitting here, I'm still kind of reading the NRA history, right? Founded in 1871 by Army veterans, U.S. Army veterans, 1871. U.S. Army veterans, okay, 2 generals. This is why it was founded. So, see, it's interpretation and perception. Listen, it was founded to promote and encourage rifle shooting on a scientific basis.
Mm-hmm.
What that mean? Scientific? What they talking about?
It wouldn't just get the gun because we got our Second Amendment and we just shoot people.
That it was scientific is what
It
it's saying.
was how we do it, the best
Right.
way to do it,
The science behind
the
it.
proper way to do it.
Right. Is
Oh,
all in
now-
how the gun is made, how accurate it shoots. Does it have a recoil? It's the science behind the building of the gun.
If I
Not-
may,
That sound real. Wait. Now you know that sound real cute. What's popping now? Come on now.
But
Put
see,
that in
but,
perspective now.
but see, this is the thing, though, Cry. That's you're talking about the 1800s.
1871 now.
It was different then. The game doesn't change. The players do.
And that's what I'm saying. 1871, we got different stuff going on. But then you have people we voted for talking to their constituents, which is what's going on now. We have a religious, very right religious movement happening right now.
Which white is that? Are you talking about right or you talking about whites?
Both
You talking about right? Both. Okay. Got you.
religious, right. And then we have some black people over there too.
Oh,
Right.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we ain't qualified them niggas though.
Okay. So religious, very right political views. Okay. So it depends on who you got in the office and the constituents and what's the mindset of the people that they're supposed to be representing. So at some point it changed. Now it's gun control and Second Amendment. You're trying to take my Second Amendment rights, and it's all the NRA's fault. It's the NRA's fault because they support guns. Okay.
Listen. I have never met a gun that picked up another gun and shot somebody.
Thank you.
it's
Right.
not guns that kill people. It's stupid motherfuckers with guns that kill people.
Thank you.
And that's the truth. And
It is.
Thank
It
you, Matt.
is.
I told you this, like it's people that are desperate that, like you guys said, well, men and women in this meeting, it's people that are absolutely desperate that need to use guns to help support their lives. Some of these people don't know any better. They're at their rock bottom and they're trying to support themselves.
Mhm.
And I understand that, but I think every American has their reason to have a gun to defend themselves and their children and their families.
Okay, so I agree with you. So I'm gonna give you a history fact. There was a certain book, my sister, I know she read it. Red Dragon might have read it. Some of y'all probably read it, whatever. Called Black Wall Street. Black Wall Street.
Right.
Black Wall Street was a community that was so successful in what they did with Black people, just Black people.
Not $1 exited that community.
Not $1 left the community for a whole year. The white people
They got jealous.
the white people saying that they were so successful in doing what they do. You know what they did to a token white guy? They bombed it.
Yeah.
They bombed it.
Over a week's time, just bam.
Just over
We are not a perfect superior race at all. And I'm not saying that. I hope you guys know that.
Yeah, no, we understand that, but this is
It
what I'm
ain't your
saying to
fault.
you. This is what I'm saying to you.
Thank you.
The what I'm saying to you is that
You
the
wasn't there, you didn't do
culture,
it.
the culture of the United States is to keep their foot on Black people, even if they're working just by themselves. They don't want to see them go and grow.
No form of empowerment.
But
no
you
form
said it at the
of-
beginning. No, Fire. You said it at the beginning. It's not completely about keeping somebody's foot on somebody's neck.
I know that.
We've repeated it here many times. From the beginning, when you talked about England sending their people to America, it's fight or flight.
Right.
What do I do? Because I'm afraid.
Hey.
So I fight. I fight any and everything in front of me,
and
even if they don't deserve it.
And that's what I'm saying.
And that holds no color. It
doesn't hold any color, but I was using the Black Wall Street for example, because everybody knows something about that. And what I'm saying is that when you have a race of people who think that they are superior and better, it don't matter if they're not even associated with them. They don't want to see that particular people move forward. It ain't like that there was white people in that situation helping them do what they were doing. They were self-sufficient.
Which is what's going on.
What I'm saying is, even if you are self-sufficient in the United States, because some people see your color, they don't want you to have certain things. Don't mean that you won't have them.
Which is what's going on right now. Which is what's going on right now is that why it's such a push to send everything back to where it was pre-1963.
Wow.
Let's take it all back where, you know, listen, Matt, you wasn't there. Stop apologizing for them. Okay. Let's take it all back to where we were white men and we smoked our cigars in the smoke-filled room and we told people what to do and they did what we told them to do. And if they didn't, we lynch them or whip them or we do something. Let's take all those laws back now. Our children don't get to do things they want to do. It's not fair that Felicity act a girl, she cheated to get her child in the school, and then she had to spend 3 months in jail because she cheated to get her child in the school when her child didn't deserve to go to that Ivy League school. It's not fair.
She was dumb.
It's not fair, right?
JD,
it's not fair what you're doing to me. It's not fair. That's why I want to go to our nation's capital and commit insurrection, because I'm gonna bludgeon the head of Nancy Pelosi. I'm gonna take what's mine because I'm white and you're taking all my privileges so I gotta fight. Put them up. Fight you with one hand tied behind my back.
Like I said, I don't disagree. I don't give a shit if our president in the next election is a Black African-American woman. I do not care. If you are going to do a good job for our country that we're based on, I don't care. I'm not
But you
Trump
have
support.
to, going back to what Kry said, you have to put the right people in place in order for all this gun nonsense and tomfoolery to stop.
I agree. You know, people have not been put in the right places at the right times. They've been disregarded in a lot of senses for a lot of despicable reasons. Kry, you made a lot of really good points about like the gun stuff, with the laws and stuff like that, since that's what we were talking about. So here's my tangent. I've gone to the gun shop and I've went to go purchase a gun, and I've been put on hold for 14 days. Maybe they called me earlier. I don't care. There was a guy who got put on hold a day before me that was throwing a fit. I have some friends that are St. Louis County police officers that work at this gun store, and they told me the story. And the guy had an assault and battery charge next week. If he would have had that gun, who knows what would have happened. It's sad. For me, like I said, I'm okay. If I have to wait 14 days, I have to wait 14 days. I don't care. But sometimes you get flagged. Maybe there's something on your record. All we're trying to do is keep everyone safe, and it's tough, man. It's tough to be a police officer, because the people that want to defund the police and take them away are the ones that want to call them first time their house gets broken into, and they're like, anti-gun and stuff like that. I think any responsible homeowner, any responsible person that doesn't have mental health issues should have a gun to protect themselves and their family. I dated a girl in high school. Her dad is a world-renowned psychiatrist. And he's like, gun laws should be stricter because of the people I deal with. I don't disagree with that. I think that's exactly correct. And like you said, Fire, there's no way that you can, if people want marijuana, they're going to get marijuana. If people want fentanyl, they're going to get fentanyl. If people want guns, they're going to get guns. It's really difficult. But sorry, Kry, what'd you say?
That's one thing I wanted to say, y'all, just real talk. Legislation is not going to stop devastation. We need to change our conversation. You see what I'm saying? Just like what you just said, are we really dealing with let me ask this question. Do y'all think that we really want a solution to all these things that we seeing in the news, kids getting shot? I mean, just like Red Dragon said, this stuff ain't new. In the hood, it happen all the time. We getting popped all over the place. This stuff, it's not put on in the news like that. You know what I'm saying? So my whole thing is, Fire, why can't we really deal with the problem behind the real thing? You know what I'm saying? Is it really the laws? Is it really the legislation? Or is it the heart of those who are in? Is it the heart of the people who are in these positions that could really cause change, that could really put things in its proper perspective as into where we would have less death? What if having death is a part of the agenda that's being pushed for these things to be put in perspective, and all this other stuff is just what you call that? It's a
propaganda.
It's propaganda.
Distraction.
It's a smoke. Yeah, it's a smoke screen.
Okay.
It's like, hey, I'm putting all this in front of you, but we really don't want it to change. Because at the end of the day, not only are we trying to take your freedom away from you, but it's bigger than that. Man, we trying to push an agenda. We trying to push an agenda that's really gonna push what we want. And people dying. I mean, if they die, they die. If they live, they live. But listen,
and you're right.
Let's just be honest with it. I mean, come on, y'all been talking like a whole hour about why don't we do this and why don't we put this in perspective? And I'm a this and I'm a that.
But you are right, Jay. You're right, Kry. You are right, Kry. Tupac said it's in the hearts of many.
Okay, so let me hold on, stop. But let me, because he said something. He said something. Hold on. So let me tell you this here, right here. I'm gonna need you to listen to yourself, because that's what we're doing, is changing the conversation, talking about it differently. And you can't change a conversation if you don't change the players.
Or how the conversation is. So
you can't change the conversation if you got Lindsey Graham, who's been in office forever and a day since he was knee-high to a pup. You can't change the conversation. So, boy, don't get me started on you.
Started on me. Hey.
Okay.
I think we need to find people in our legislation that are more involved and more aware of what we're going through now. Having our president that can't even walk upstairs, like, get out of politics, bro. Retire. You've made your fortune.
Don't do that.
Get the fuck off the plane.
I'm with token white guy.
Did you see the press conference he gave? Like, homeboy fell asleep during the middle of a speech. Like, we gonna.
So now,
I'm like, I want what he's smoking.
So when we're talking about changing the conversation, New York, this new Supreme Court thing came out, and New York went on and laid out a very strict licensing process, which is what we just talked about. Okay.
Right.
So and everybody's all in an uproar about it. But you got somebody new in office as governor. Cuomo is gone. Giuliani is gone.
They beat they rape charges.
Okay. Now you got this woman up there, Kathy Hochul or whatever, Hochul. Okay. Governor Hochul. I can't pronounce it. Y'all know I get words wrong. Okay.
Ochul. It sounds like.
Okay. But now you got her up there and she's like, pow. Okay, Supreme Court said this is what we're gonna do for the state. Because the Supreme Court like to always make a ruling, but then give that caveat that the states can
regulate it
do
like
they
they
want
want.
it,
do their own
according to-
regulation, yeah.
right? So she done brought it. So you can't change the conversation until you change the players.
Okay, so
But he was
I got a
talking
different
about
spin
the
on that.
agenda that they pushing though. These
You
players
can't
are
change the
pushing
agenda. You
an
can't change the
alternative agenda
conversation
right
until
in
you
front of
change
folks'
the
noses.
people.
Okay,
You got to
Right,
change
but when
the
you say
people.
when you say people, and then we token white guy was saying putting the right people in place. And the first thing that popped in mind was who's considered right? What is the
That's
right
why
person?
we go back to what
When you
Fire just
have
said to you.
when you
have to pay
have
attention to their agenda. You have to pay attention to their vote. Listen,
exactly.
I have said several times on
I'm
this
saying
show,
no. I don't.
I
Disagree
wasn't
with
up
that.
to vote for Obama. I was not gonna vote for Obama. Why? I'll finally say it out loud. I have said it on our Instagram. I'm a Black Republican.
Amen. Come on.
Well, see
you're
that what
a
I'm saying.
Republican?
But see, that's
Are
why
you a
when you
Republican,
say
Kry?
research your candidates,
Okay.
do your homework on your candidates.
Now, listen,
around the
I
time
wasn't gonna
people
vote
are
on
getting
him.
ready to
Hey,
go
girl, I
into
would take
office,
Obama back in
there's
a
so much
heartbeat over Biden.
mudslinging going on. When you're trying to do your
Let me tell you
research
something.
on what their
Okay,
core
let me
values.
finish my subject. Let me finish my subject, Red
Oh, I'm
Dragon. This is
sorry.
my show.
Sorry,
Okay.
ma'am.
Listen,
Excuse me.
listen. Hold on. Before you say that, sister, listen. I'm gonna tell you what it really comes down to. Now, y'all might not like what I'm gonna say, but my thing is I don't care. So, the biggest problem in the world today is simply one thing.
People don't listen.
No, no. This is a religious aspect. It's the point of sin. The hearts of men and what's in the hearts of men. Can you regulate wickedness? You can't.
Well, they've been sitting up, the white boy's been sitting up for the last 60 years talking about it ain't found.
Yeah,
So
yeah. But this is the thing.
This
This is the thing. It doesn't matter what you do as a child. What goes into a person is what's going to come out of the person. A child is not born being a KKK member.
Mm-hmm.
That's something that's freaking taught.
Exactly, because why you think you got high school students up there in Oregon talking about we want to have slave trade?
For right, and I agree with that. The things that you dislike a person because of their color, it's not something that you're born with, it's something that you're taught. So all these things have been taught to these people and brought up to like that. So this is the thing. The hardest thing for a grown person to do is go back and erase and unlearn what they have learned.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That's why, like my sister said, there's a study that you get the second graders, because she said she don't know why you get the second graders, but the second graders is where they start to implement things into kids and they gravitate to it for the rest of their life. So if you begin to change people before they get to that point or at that point, then you raise up a different type of generation of people. John D. Rockefeller said this, and I love this quote. I say it all the time. He did not want a group of thinkers. He wanted a group of workers. What John D. Rockefeller really was saying was he wanted people enslaved. Because anytime you have a group of thinkers, then change has to happen.
Enslaved does not equate to only blacks.
No, it doesn't.
Oh, no.
Okay.
No, it doesn't.
No.
Because
No,
now
it
I'm
doesn't.
gonna take it back to the point
when
where
you
I
have an
was
oppressed
going.
mentality, that's any race.
I'm gonna take it back to where I was going. I was not going to vote for Obama until I decided to go and put his voting record against McCain's voting record. I went and looked at everything that they had voted from the time that Obama was a senator. Like I matched it toe for toe. Then I started digging down into his grassroots stuff and and paying attention to what he was saying in his speeches. Okay. And then I made an educated, conscious decision, intellectual decision about who should have been the best president at the time. It still could have been McCain until he brought the girl talking about pig's lips. That was not the business, Sarah Palin. You are not going to represent me.
All right.
So I went with the historic choice and cried with my mom, but that was not my first choice until I went looking for the evidence.
And what I was speaking on with that was not many people would be educated enough to look at what that person that's supposed to be representing a voice of the people, what they have voted on.
So now we go back to what Kry is saying and change the conversation. It is people like us who need to be in the field, on the ground running, changing that conversation. So Red Dragon, I challenge you to go out in your community and teach people who you think may be at odds or in trouble with understanding the process.
Well,
not just take old grandma, 90 years old, to the poll. I'm talking about having those conversations in your community, like the one we're having now. Hey, y'all, you have to go. Not yet, because I ain't finished talking.
Okay.
So
you go and have those conversations with those people, educating them, teaching them. I have spoken to youngsters, especially my young Black men. I might be just standing up in the restaurant waiting on my to-go order. And I'm going to come up with a conversation. Hey, young buck, did you vote? Well, no, ma'am, I didn't think. Well, why didn't you vote? Well, ma'am, I thought this, that, and the third. Let me tell you something. Let me peep you to this game. And then they say, oh, I didn't know that. Okay, I'm going to vote the next time because I didn't realize that. It's simple. Cry to change your conversation. It's simple. Go ahead, Red Dragon.
Okay. And educating people. Yes. As a matter of fact, I volunteer on the polls and I do engage in conversations. And what is brought up, I wanted to support with what Kry was saying about an agenda. A lot of people do bring that up when you ask them very directly, why didn't you take a part in this process as far as voting? They bring up a lot of conspiracy theories, but they also get back to the point of agenda. Does this person really represent what I feel is important? And they get on to the alternate agenda that's being pushed and what these higher people in power are ultimately pushing an unseen agenda that is focused on the enslavement of oppressed people, period, no matter what color, no matter what race. And what I wanted to say to that was a lot of people are not aware to go and look and research anyone that is going to be a voice for them on the Senate, on as a councilman or whatever. And around election time, there's so much mudslinging. There's so much going on. To dig to the actual truth during that time, some of us are able to do that. A lot of us would not even think to do that. So how do you meet them on their grounds to able to educate, to acknowledge that, okay, I do feel why you are on the fence. And I do agree that there is an alternate agenda being pushed. But at the end of the day, like you're saying, Ice, what are you doing to contribute to the change you want to see? What are you actually
that's the $1 million
tangibly doing? That is on, but for those of us that are not enlightened enough to take action, how do you engage those people?
Okay.
Because there's a lot of them. There's a lot of people that feel there is an alternate agenda. There is so much that is being supported that is not in support of me as the individual, as a person.
So number one,
so
that's
when
thing
you're
called a
engaging
write-in
those
vote.
people,
Hold on, sister. Let Jay go because he said
real quick because I got
right. You got a chance to talk.
Who you talking
I'm
to?
just saying,
You know what?
you got a chance to talk.
Wait a
Can I
minute.
finish my point? I'm just
let
saying.
Jay talk. Let Jay talk. Hold on. Let Jay talk.
Who you talking to?
This why it's
I'll
insane.
cut all of y'all off, put y'all over there in this thing. Don't tell me I got a chance to talk, girl. Bye.
Go ahead, Jay.
Hey, Ice, you keep paying the price. You better listen. Check this out. I gotta go.
Did he just tell me I better listen?
Huh?
What you say?
Token white guy.
Okay, because I was getting ready to put you over there in the green room.
Ice, real talk. Because I gotta get out of here. But I've been hearing everything that we saying, but I'm gonna be totally honest with y'all. Ice, it's time about the vote and all of that. The answer to the issue that we're talking about when it comes to the gun laws and things like that, y'all, I don't think it's in politics. I think politics is just a bunch of tricks. Politics is a bunch of politics is a bunch of professional tricks that we have put on this pedestal that we look at in a delusion of change. And I hope
how do we change it, Kry? How do we change it? How do we change
it? We change it. I think it's better to say it's not, the change is not in politics. It's about how we deal with the grassroots of what my man said over fire when it comes to our hearts and our mindsets. I think it's a spiritual battle compared to being a practical battle. Now you can say, well, hold up, this is not the time to talk about that type of stuff. But I believe that when we talk about the solutions that we want, we're playing around in the dirt of things that really can't bring the success or bring the solutions that we need. Do y'all agree?
Okay.
The problem is not the guns. The problems is not the guns. It's the people who hold the guns.
Okay,
just
like so you've been sitting over there now listening because that's what we all
said.
So you're right. It is spiritual, but everything if we're going to talk about the Bible, if our spirituality is centered around the Bible, okay, everything that happened in that Bible that God wanted someone to do. Did you hear that operative word? God wanted it. He sent it to somebody to make it happen. So God's warriors, don't get me started. God's warriors are us. So you have to put us in motion. You can't just say, oh, it's spiritual. We're saying, I just said to Red Dragon, as a spiritual warrior, get up and go talk to those people where they are. You know who they are in their place, and give them a sense of what's going on and how they can tangibly change it. How they can tangibly change it. When we change a conversation, it can't just be the conversation. God's warriors have, Joshua went around the town quietly. How many times he went? 8, 7? Okay.
7.
Quietly. Bop, bop, beep, bop, 5, 6, 7. God said, now make a noise.
And the walls fell flat.
And the walls came down.
Right.
So don't sit here and tell me about, oh, it's spiritual. It ain't just politics. It ain't just bloopity bloopity bloop and go sit down on ice. Let me tell you something. Every time God wanted a change, he had somebody in place. Miss Ruth, Miss Esther, she had to go and do what she had to do to make God's will work.
Right.
Yeah. I mean,
come on back. Hold up. Come on back, Matt. You had something to say a long time ago.
Oh no, I was going to go back to the gun rights and everything, and I was thinking about, you know, you're not going to ever get around people having illegal firearms.
Nope.
No, but people like me and Fire that are legal, responsible gun owners, if somebody breaks in or tries to rob like a QT or something, you're going to be safer with people like me and Fire around you carrying a firearm. You know, and a lot of the things, these school shootings, going back to Uvalde and Columbine, which are very tragic.
And Parkland.
And I mean, that's just like the first notable one and the last notable one. They're all horrible. Don't get me wrong. I'm not trying to judge. I'm just saying, like, the first and the last, they're going to continue happening. You know, I don't have any children. I don't have anybody that's going to steal my firearms. I keep mine safely in a safe. I know where my stuff is at all times. I keep my ammunition locked up as well. You know, so the NRA has taught me a lot of stuff, and a lot of the military people, friends I have taught me a lot of stuff. And to be a responsible gun owner, you have to keep track of your stuff. You have to know how to carry it. If your gun has a safety, doesn't have a safety, you know, you want to make sure you know how to handle your firearm. If it's a bolt action, a semi-automatic, a pistol, safety, whatever, you know. But a lot of these school shootings, yes, they are, you know, white children that have been doing this, white teenagers, but they get these guns from their families because they're unsecured, and they need to be secured. And if they're not diagnosed, or if the parents have any inclination of anything that may be going wrong, they need to all be in the safe.
Yeah. Listen,
so
I think you got Ethan Crumbley. His parents gave him the gun as a present. The day of the shooting, his parents were called to the school because the teacher noticed some gun drawings and violent drawings in the notebook. The mother said, oh, okay, it'll be all right. After she was called to the school, they showed her this stuff. She said, oh, okay, it'll be okay. I'm going back home. He can stay for the rest of the day. She goes home, and an hour after she leaves, Ethan Crumbley shoots up the school. Wow. The parents go on the run. Their son is in jail. They go on the run.
They go on the run.
We can't find them.
Yeah.
Okay.
They did. That's true story. That is an awful, awful tragedy. I mean, that could have been prevented 100%.
So if all you're spouting, here's your conversation, Kry. If all you're spouting is gun this, gun that, and then you go and buy the gun, and oh, I'm so afraid, and oh, these Black people are taking over the world, and these Chinese people are taking over the world, and oh, it's horrible. It's horrible. Gun. Okay. and your child has mental issues that you are not addressing.
Dressing? Yeah. Yeah, that's the problem.
If you are a Republican senator or representative and you're taking family Christmas photos, and even your 2-year-old got a assault rifle in the
Right.
Christmas picture,
Right.
you're sending the wrong message.
Yeah. What was the family, sister? What was the family? I think it was about a year ago or so, where someone had came up to their lawn because there was a protest outside of their house, and they went inside their house and got an M16, and the wife came out with a 9mm pistol, and it had to be a black protest because they were marching down the street, and they went in the house and came back out with a.
That was here. Are you talking about here?
I don't even remember where it was from.
Yeah, the two lawyers.
I was like, "Are you serious?"
Yeah. They were actually going somewhere else to one of the mayor's house to protest, and it was very peaceful. They had an open gate on the street that was open, and they were passing these people's houses, no threat at all. They actually, the husband went in, got that M16 AR-15, and the wife little Glock 9, and they're pointing it at
the
people passing their house. And both of these motherfuckers were lawyers, and they wanted to plead the case that they felt their life was at risk because of this very peaceful protest by a group of Black people who were on their way to the mayor's house, who stayed a few houses down on the same street. And that went all the way up to Supreme Court. And they were like, crazy. Really? We can't fuck crazy. With y'all guilty.
Like, that was freaking crazy. That just shows you the heart of men. That's what I'm saying to that it is what's in a person is what you're going to produce. So I'm with my co-host Ice. You have to start making a change with a conversation with people. You know what I'm saying? Like, here's a perfect opportunity right here. Me and Token White Guy was having a conversation, a general conversation about a roof. That's how I met him. I met him because he's a roofer. He was talking to me about when he could come out and check this house out for me. And then the conversation went somewhere else. He started talking about music. I was like, I do this in music, do that in music. Now we didn't build a relationship with each other from a roof conversation. That's the thing that needs to happen. You need to know how to build a conversation with a person so you can get what they have and understand the knowledge that they have. They can understand the knowledge that I have, and we can meet in the middle and try to help tear down BS issues in our world.
Right.
Period.
Okay, he didn't come back here with no clothes on.
That's what I'm saying, dude. You need to put a shirt on with a guy.
I need to put him in the green room.
Yeah, you think,
hey, I told you I got a bird off.
Ain't nobody trying to see no cow titties.
I'm grateful I've been on the other side of this Token situation as being the only white guy in the room. It's been a lot of fun. I've learned a lot, and I hope that I've provided any type of information or any help to anybody out there. But until our country is supposed to be the United States of America, and in 1776 we had slaves. That is fucked up. I don't think anybody.
But we ain't gonna talk about it today. The fact that I don't celebrate Juneteenth.
No, we won't, but we are getting ready to celebrate the 4th of July.
I don't celebrate that either.
United States of America, but we have been more divided than ever lately. And I think we need to, like me and Fire have recommunicated and everything. And, we need to come back together as a team I don't care what the fuck color, race, religion, anything you are. We need to be a team.
But right now, we are changing the conversation. You see what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
no doubt about it.
I'm
The
sorry.
conversation is changed because we're having this conversation with, you know, with someone who has named himself the token white guy. We didn't give him that name, y'all.
He
gave
picked it
himself
on
that
his
name.
own.
Exactly.
Okay. Kry. Tell them where they can see you, meet you, go to your website page, whatever, to see your spoken word. How can they get to you?
Hey, y'all can go to Jeremiah Jackson. Hey, Facebook. You know what I'm saying? All my videos, all my events, all those things on there. Since y'all can go check me out. And we're in the midst of trying to pitch some other things in perspective when it comes to trying to get on other the media sites also or whatever. So we're just trying to get some things in place. And I just wanted to say real quick before I get out of here. Hey, I appreciate ICE, what y'all doing with having this type of presentation where you got different perspectives, but we talking real talk, you know what I'm saying? And we dealing with things that a whole lot of groups, a whole lot of organizations don't want to be real about and don't want to be down to earth about because of that cutoff spirit. If you start talking about the things that ruffle people the wrong way, then they want to cut you off or stop this and stop that. You know what I'm saying? So what y'all doing is big stuff. You know what I'm saying? And we need more stuff like this. Y'all need to do this like once a week, I think. You know what I'm saying? Because hey, all this other stuff out here on media, why not have the opposite, the real truth? That's what I look at this as being, the real unadulterated truth. I mean, you gonna hear curse words and things like that, but when you done with it, hey, the truth gonna hit you in the face. And it's all about, hey, either you gonna pick it up and run with it, or you gonna deny it and run away from it. So I just want to give y'all props, man.
Well, we happy to have you on our show.
Keep doing it. ICE, keep doing it. And please have me back so I have a chance to talk a little bit, because maybe.
No, you just gotta jump in there, Kry.
I mean, hey, y'all be going, man. Y'all be on a mission, you know. And
this was your warm-up session. We know how you gonna be on the next one.
I'm just trying to keep up, because I'm like, every time I would even take a stop to think, it's another person that's talking, and I'm like, well, I can't speak there. So, but hey, man, this right here is awesome, y'all. Please keep this up, keep popping with it, and please have me back, man. But this is what media need. You feel me? Huh?
Kry, it was nice to meet you in person, or at least put a face with the name. I know your actual name, but dude, it's good to meet you. It's good to be here, and I'm grateful to be here. So thank you. And this is my first time on this program, and maybe my last. I don't know. We'll see.
We'll see. No, okay, so you roofing. Where you do we want to tell where you roofing at? What's the name of your roofing company?
I actually sold my company. I work for another company now.
Okay, we don't want to talk about them.
I'm not announcing who I work for.
Okay, good. Okay.
Fire nose.
Okay. Well,
hey, Matt, excuse me, man. I wanted to let you know too, bro. We got to plug in, bro. You know what I'm saying? We got to hop on them mics and we got to make it right. So, hey, whatever it is that we got to do, we got to make it.
We just made some connections on Insane Rhetorik.
Hey, I don't mind doing the spoken word thing. Let me know when you ready to hit an open mic. Come pick me up.
Okay, so Red Dragon, where can we catch you, reach you? Hey, where you at?
I am RedDragonThePoet, and y'all can catch me on Instagram. You can catch me on my Facebook page. I also am the manager of Holistic Trap Wellness, and the trap doors will be open soon as an LLC. We got all your health and wellness needs, anything to help you get well, help deter you from being addicted. We have everything we need, the herbal equivalent to any drug that you want to do to alter your mind. I got you. I got the hookup.
Mm-mm.
Also,
these
I love
drugs
hitting the
legal?
open mic scene.
What?
I love hitting the, yeah, I make an ashwagandha smoothie. That's a natural aphrodisiac,
Said
also
herbal.
good for blood
Oh,
circulation.
herbal.
Means
Okay.
natural.
Also, yeah, I also
Okay.
take
Okay.
mushroom wellness teas, help with memory. I've been on ashwagandha root for about 2-3 weeks. It's a natural mood stabilizer. I am bipolar and anxiety, and that's been so well. I
I
have
knew
not
you was
had to
crazy.
hurt nobody.
I knew you was
Do
So
crazy.
you
yeah,
do
I
you
I
have
just
couldn't
any?
put
study
my finger
herbalism
on
as
what it
well.
was, but I thought you was
Do
crazy.
you? Excuse me, Red Dragon. Do
Yes,
you have
sir.
anything that can help you lose weight?
Yes, sir. I also
Okay.
have a skinny brew coffee. I have skinny brew tea because I also am a licensed distributor of health and wellness products with It Works. So yes,
Capitalism
I
at its
do
best,
have,
y'all.
I got what you need. You want to lose some
Look at this
weight.
serial
I got
entrepreneur over
wraps.
here.
I got seaweed wraps. I got skinny brew
Ooh.
tea. I got skinny brew
Ooh.
coffee. Hit your girl up. I got all your needs.
Red Dragon the Poet,
Wow.
and what's the trap called? What is it called?
It's called Holistic Trap Wellness, baby. I
Okay,
got you.
okay.
I also infuse and make infused products and uninfused products, whatever you get,
Okay.
whatever you need.
Okay, Matthew, you drive a motorcycle?
No.
I don't. Do I look like
Okay.
I should?
No, I was just asking a question. So it's something else going on. I was asking a question. Look at Paul. Look at Paul. Look at Paul.
Hey, you can look, man. So I'm gonna shoot this out to you real quick.
Subscribe,
So,
like, follow.
my co-host is coming up here in August, and she wants some handsome guys to do some photo ops with her for Insane Rhetoric. And I'm gonna have a couple of motorcycle guys. She's looking at you like the handsome white guy, so she wants you to lean on a motorcycle for her and take some pictures. Is that okay?
I can. It just depends. My sister's getting married August 19th in Chicago.
What's the date we got, sister? I forgot.
26 to 28.
The 26th
I'll
through
be
the
back
28th.
before then.
Yeah,
Well, you
you're
might
welcome
just
to
have to
come
show up
over and
without
lean on some motorcycles.
without the motorcycle.
Baby girl, all you gotta do is call me, babe.
Hey, people, I'm about to mob up, bro.
Yeah,
Put the
all right,
glasses
man.
on.
I'll holler
Put
at
the
you.
glasses
All
out.
All
Great
right.
meeting you,
Casting
Kry.
call. Okay.
Guys, it was a pleasure.
Yeah, all right, man. Holler at you.
Hey,
right.
you got that token white guy. You got that hookup with them guns. I might need to come see you because I was carjacked recently.
He don't
And my
sell
entire
guns of
family.
his to other people. You have to go buy your own gun.
No, I want one.
He's not gonna sell you his gun.
My entire family has been on me to buy one.
Or I could do a legal transfer through a gun shop.
I know
Yay!
you can. I know you can. Token
I'm gonna
white
need her to get
guy.
her
I'm
own
very
gun because we
familiar.
might need her to
Look,
pass the
you don't want to sell your
psyche
gun.
val.
My fingerprints all over that motherfucker.
She might need to pass the psyche val.
So yeah, you might want to get a background check on the Red Dragon, the Cyber Bell. I don't know how that'll work. Listen.
Oh my
listen,
God.
man, so-
I'm just saying it would have came in handy when they took my only means of transportation. I can't DoorDash no more. I'm just devastated.
You didn't never find it. They didn't never get it back.
If they found it was shot up, they
Oh,
shot
boy.
that thing up and used it for a
This
couple
what we
of
talking
days.
about guns today, man. Why you gonna shoot up a car?
And these were teenagers. They
Well, that's
looked
what
no
they do.
older than my son, who's 13.
That's what they do. Did you
Yeah.
leave your keys in the car?
Yeah, I was door dashing, so yeah.
Yeah, that's why most cars get stolen. When
Yeah,
do
they
that,
followed
take your
me.
keys out
They
the car and
followed
turn the
me.
car off.
And you know, it happened in Walnut Park, right there
Yeah.
off of
Yeah.
West Florissant and
Yeah,
McLaurin,
we-
in my own neighborhood.
We
I
familiar
was
with
devastated.
Walnut Park.
My grandma,
And at 1:30 in the morning, because I was out working. After I came from a party on the south side.
Well, now you know you bought that lesson. You know not to do a dash and leave your keys in the car without it running. You better turn it on and grab the key.
Okay.
I know. But
And wait a
no,
minute, and check your insurance, please, because not everybody reimburses. I can't get reimbursed for anything I left or my son's hoverboard. That sucks.
Okay, what you got to say, Matthew?
no, I was gonna say I know about that area. My grandma and grandpa grew up in they raised my mom and my uncle in Spanish Lake and Blackjack.
Oh,
Yeah. So you know what I'm talking about. Yeah.
Am I going there?
That's why I didn't
fine, when I
feel
get
the
there?
need that I would be
Apparently, I
safe.
don't want to
That's
go
why
there.
You'll be in a safe neighborhood with a person
Okay.
who has a lot of guns.
Okay.
I got 3 in my truck right now.
Wait a minute. Why does that sound so much like fire? My oldest son was so excited to show him his little handgun, and fire goes, pops the trunk. Now let me show you what I got. Homeboy just popped out with an arson. I'm like, you ride around with that? Yeah.
With an arson or an arsenal?
Arsenal, both of them. Okay.
Oh, okay.
He had an arson and an arsenal.
I'll tell you what. I have a 10 o'clock AA meeting that I am.
Bye.
Yeah, you're gonna have to go there.
Bye. Listen. Let us close out. We finna close out.
I'm gonna
We
need
finna
you to
close
go there
out right.
because I'm
So,
I guess this would be a bad
Insane
time
Rhetoric.
to tell people I infuse alcohol too.
This is Insane Rhetoric. We want to thank you guys for joining us this morning. All our guests, Kry, Token White Guy, Red Dragon the Poet, and the ones you know is your host, Fire and Nice. We want to let you know that you can check us out on IG, Facebook, Instagram. We are on every platform you can think of. YouTube live stream. This is gonna go up as soon as we get done. Listen, we just want you to know, like, subscribe, and follow. And just remember to enjoy the ride that is Insane Rhetoric. We out of here, man. Good show. We'll holler at y'all later.
Bye.
Hi, y'all.